Now y'all being recorded. Trust your faces don't show up when you're doing this. So we have the pleasure today of Tawanda Purdie on the call with us, and I will give you a little bit of foreshadowing. 3.5 years ago, she was in corporate America. I'll let her tell the story of where she's at today, and we're going to cover how she got there. To say that it is impressive and that success leaves clues is an absolute understatement. And I want y'all to know that, like everybody else, whether she shares this or not, and that's up to her, there have, of course, been some challenges along the way. That's just how life comes at you. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce you, probably again, to Miss Tawanda Purdie. Tawanda, thank you so much for being on the call.
Thank you, George.
So I promised you that I was going to ask you a bunch of questions and I wasn't going to throw you under the bus because every one of you has a story we want to hear. Get us up to speed. You can go as deep as you want on this one, but what I'm really looking for is, let's go back like 3.5 years ago. You're in corporate America. You got your real estate license. Tell me what that year looked like. Tell me what your schedule looked like and how did you work around it? Because that really blew me away. Would you, and you can do anything before that you want to cover as well as far as personal stuff.
I started January 2021. At the time, I was in a pharmaceutical sales role, working remote from 7:30 to 3:30, and struggling the first, I'd say, 3 months trying to figure it out. And then I switched brokerages, and he said, door knock. So I would get off at 3:30 each day, get dressed, make myself presentable, and I would go into my neighborhood and door knock 2 streets a day. I think I started that in April. By July, sorry, at the end of June, I got my first listing.
Well, hang tight. I gotta jump into this. So you stayed within your community and just said, I'm gonna door knock the community. What'd you say?
Hi neighbor. My name's Tawanda. I'm in real estate. You happen to know of anyone looking to buy or sell? And then I'd shut the heck up and let them talk.
So I'm going to assume that you were absolutely flawlessly perfect when you got started, that everything you said came out as if it were written by Shakespeare and it was part of a sonnet, and you didn't make any mistakes and weren't at all uncomfortable. Is that right? No.
No, that is not the case.
All right. Give us a vulnerable.
That's
How
not
bad
the
was
case.
it?
I was nervous as heck. I would mess up. But there's a part of this that I got to share with y'all. I come from 16 years in corporate sales. I already carry a certain confidence because I was a hunter. And what that means is in software is I hunted CTOs and IT directors. I got past the gatekeeper. I cold called them. I built relationships and I brought it all the way to the closing table. So I already carry a certain level of confidence because of where I came from. But yes, this was nerve-wracking until this day when I go door knocking. I'm not even gonna lie. I pull up, I park, I'm scared to freaking death. But I'll play some type of song that's gonna pump me up. And then I get out. And by the time I'm done, I'm like, all right, let's go. But y'all, I am very meticulous with it. Like I don't, Mitch Susanna called me one time in the middle of me door knocking. And I was like, bro, not today. I'll call you when I'm done. So if I set out to hand out 50 flyers, I don't care who calls me. I don't care if it starts to rain. I got a raincoat, boots in the car. I have done this. And this is how hungry I was to get out of corporate in my first year. I was hungry. So I didn't care about the rainstorm. And I promise y'all, I did that. And I had some ladies around the corner who were like, the hustle in you, it is pouring. And my flyers are in a plastic bag and I'm still going because I was not stopped until I reached 50. But today I've sold 11 homes in that one neighborhood.
You know what? You just stole my thunder because so what I heard, and y'all get this. First off, let's start with we'll lead with the story. You're still door knocking. I mean, yes, we know it works, but why would you keep doing it?
Oh, well, so I took a little break, not gonna lie, in all transparency, but your girl is about to go all the way in because
Right on.
because I just signed up for Bill Pipe's coaching.
Yep.
Like dropped 9,000. That hurt me to my core. And that was just this week. So I'm about to go find that other deal to cover that cost.
Okay, so and that's kind of a relevant portion too. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but you're in a position where you're able to say, I'm going to put somebody in place to help me steer this ship in the right direction. I think Pipes is an amazing choice, and you will watch your business catapult. He's incredible, and his coaching team, particularly Amanda. I love Amanda. She's a good friend as well. You are in a great place. I love that you're willing to say, I'm going to invest that and I am going to get my return by one more transaction. It's flat out going to happen.
Mhm.
A little bit of housekeeping real quick as we're moving through this. And I'm going to go right back to community. If you can, put your faces on. It helps with the energy and the call. And this is all for you because success leaves clues. You were door knocking and said, I'm going to do this. And I think you said 50 doors. Is that right? Was that
Correct.
kind of the minimum standard, knock on 50
Correct.
doors? How many
50.
people did you talk to on average for 50? What is your opinion of that?
Um, the first go round, I'd say by the time I got to my third, because I've door knocked this same neighborhood 8 times. So I'd say about the third time, people have already familiar with me, and I only made it down one street, and that from like 4:30 to 8:30, but 5 people pulled me in their homes, each 30 minutes at a time, showed me their house, sat down, I talked to the family. So, and now, like I said, everybody knows me. So it's the same thing. Like, girl, come on in and get a cocktail. When you're done, come see me. So in the beginning, yeah, I actually hit the 50 doors, but as people got to know me and love me, it was less and less, but hey, still I'm building relationships.
I love that. So we call it door knocking, but what you were doing was also farming. You picked a geographic area where you were absolutely going to get known. And I love that you did it in the rain. For all y'all that get this, if it's an adverse environment, like I wouldn't say a hurricane's coming, but if it's raining, best time to door knock I've ever heard of, because the fact that you're there is an impression. And now you're at the point where you said, I believe the number you said was you sold 11 homes in that community. Is
I've
that
done
fair?
11 transactions.
11
So
transactions.
I think I've had like 2 buyers going in there or moving out, but yeah, 11 transactions total.
And the people you've met are in relationship with you, which means you are their preferred realtor of choice and you know them. I'm going to pull something. Well, I won't bother. I won't bore you all with it. I have a map that I created when I first got into real estate, very much like you. I was afraid to door knock, but I would leave stuff on their door. I had 120 people in my community in Cypress Springs, which is where I was living. 120 people. And at the end of the third year, I had met everybody but 2 of them by knocking doors, walking. I used to write their names. I'd have an IMAP where it showed each house and I would write the names of the people because I wanted to meet everybody personally, kind of what you're doing. I love that. You're the area expert, period. Brilliant. So let's get to some numbers. That first year, we're door knocking, you're all in. We'll end up with pipes in just a little bit. How many transactions did you close while working a full-time job? Now you have no children and you have no other responsibilities. Your life is yours. You're basically, once it hits Friday at 3:30, you're on a cruise ship till Monday morning doing whatever you want, right?
No, let's back this up.
Okay.
I'm a single parent. I've been a single mom since I was 17. My kids are now adults. My daughter's 24, my son is 30. So yes, I have a lot more freedom, but my 24-year-old still lives with me. And my 24-year-old was diagnosed with bipolar depression when she was 14. So yeah, my life is not easy at home, not at all.
Well, okay. So that was for you to share, and I'm grateful you did because it's relevant that you have a full life, responsibilities with your daughter, particularly at this point. However, there was a huge win, and I remember exactly what she said to you. Would you mind sharing that if you want to?
Yes. Like I said, she just turned 24 May 5th, and she told me a couple of weeks before, Mommy, thank you for fighting for me.
Y'all see this? I haven't pulled this out in a while. That's a mic drop right there. I haven't done that in a bit. It needed to come out. I actually walked over to grab the mic, so I had something to drop. That's my favorite part of the story right there. That was the part that just blew me away. All right. So,
and just to back up a little bit, sorry, George,
no.
But this is somebody in 9th grade. She wanted to kill herself. She started acting on it. You know, I had to hospitalize my kid 9 times, you know, and then put her in a facility to get tested and fight. Because guess what? A lot of people don't understand mental illness. Even people in the profession don't believe you. A lot of people told me it was entitlement. But I knew her father, my ex-husband, had bipolar depression. I knew his aunt had bipolar and schizophrenic and killed herself 2 years prior to my daughter showing signs. I knew what I needed. I knew in my gut, and I moved on it to help my kid. And it was the hardest fight of my life. In the process, my daddy told me he would stand against me in court if she killed herself. My best friend wasn't there. I lost her that year. I was in this alone, still going into the office working, coming home dealing with hell. But I had to meet my quota in the office. I did what the hell I had to do. I felt like I was on vacation when I was in the office because I didn't have a chance to think about what was going on at home. So I went all in.
All right, so I'm gonna give a little foreshadowing. At the end of this journey, where we're gonna end up in about 30 minutes, is freedom. Okay, just so y'all know, it has a happy ending, but we're gonna still go through it. So you got corporate America, you're working from 7:30 to 3:30, you're door knocking in the rain, you've got things going on at the house that are there, and you sold how many homes that year, just starting switching
First year,
brokerages?
7. I think I maxed out 4 credit cards. So those first couple of deals paid off those credit cards. But yeah, 7 deals my first year.
Okay, so is it fair to say that this was a scary proposition when you said, I'm going to do this real estate thing? Holy smoke. Is that fair?
Yeah, because everything falls on me.
Right.
If I don't make it, we're going to be homeless.
Now, again, we're going to go with foreshadowing, and I happen to know the answer. How long into your real estate career until you quit corporate America and literally went all in?
10 months.
Excellent. So that first year, she closed 7 while working a full-time job. I'm here to tell you it takes 3 months to get into momentum. And we're going to talk now about your. Is there anything else you want to bring up before we get to the fun second year that
Not
needs
that
to
I
be
can think
covered?
of.
All right, cool. So y'all pay attention to this. Time on task over time. And a commitment saying, I am going to do it. What she did was she burned the boats. Now, I have to give you that analysis. This is it was in like the 1600s, and the Spaniards were going into Mexico, and and they're like, we're gonna win, and it's about 300 against 5,000. So the captain of the 3 boats said, burn the boats. Everybody's like, well, what are we gonna do? Said, you either die or you win. Those are your only 2 options. There's no more getting out of this. And what she did was burn the boats. She took a risk. She said, I'm going all in. I've got 7 closes. I'm going to quit my corporate job, which is very well paying, by the way. And I'm going to do real estate because ultimately, well, we'll get to that. So, second full year, months 13 through 24. I know the story, kind of a flop. How many homes did you sell that year? Go ahead. I know it hurts. Go ahead.
24.
Fuck me. Huge. All right. Unpack that. What'd you do? Had to throw that F-bomb out there because that's just that crazy. So you went from 7 to 24. What was your schedule like when you quit your job and you got into momentum? What changed? What made that work?
I had to go hard. I had to trust in God that I was going to make it and put in the work. And I remember my very first broker, the one thing I took away from there was he said, in order to not go dry, you need to prospect 5 different ways. Well, I timed that by 2, and I was prospecting probably 10 different ways, and I never went dry.
What were the 10 ways? Everybody wants to know.
Let's see if I can remember everything.
Sure.
All right, door knocking, of course.
Okay.
Open houses, social media. I kill it with Op City. I weather through the storm. I know everybody hates it, but guess what? It's a numbers game. You get so many bad ones, you're going to get that gold one next. So I kill it with Op City. Prime Street, that's 5. Hold on, what else? I started sending letters to international sellers. I picked the country, and I found all their homes that they owned in Orlando, and I started sending letters to their home. Well, I'm forgetting some, y'all. There's 4 others.
You're farming. You're doing farming.
Farming. And while I didn't have a database, what I did in my neighborhood is some of those pop buys. I got creative. 4th of July was the first one I did, where I bought the what do you call those 6-pack of those sparkler thingies you can buy really cheap.
Yep.
And wrapped a ribbon with my business card and a little message, and door knocked. Whether they opened or not, I left it for them. By the time I got to know all of them, I think Mother's Day, I got a little bottle of wine, a little small one, put it on the doors where I knew mothers, because I already knew who they were at that time. I would do special things for them until my database was built up. I know I'm missing 3 others, y'all. I'm so sorry.
Well, as they come, that's another one, because I've written them down. So I've got good recall on what you're saying, because this is
Did I
important.
say postcards as well?
You did not. Postcards. Got it.
Yeah, postcards.
Where'd you send the postcards to?
the neighborhood I was farming.
Okay, so that's part of your farming strategy. So if we're going to kind of bring this down, you've got some Op City, Prime Street, some lead gen. How was that as far as your 24? If you had to take a guess, we won't hold you to it. How many came from the referral based lead gens?
I believe like 6.
Okay, awesome. So y'all get that. Op City, stick through it, work it. Prime City, it's Prime Street. It's basically these are referral-based lead generations that come, and you got a quarter of your business came from there. How about from your farming, which would include door knocking, postcards, and pop buys?
The majority came from that neighborhood. So
Okay.
I think it was like, George, I have the numbers somewhere.
It's a ballpark is fine. We're just showing examples at this point.
Second year, I think maybe 4 at that time.
Okay.
So
And
majority came from,
did that increase the third year in your opinion?
it did.
Okay, all right.
It
And that's very systematic of what happens when you're building a farm area. And I'm assuming social media and the people you've met through interactions, basically your brand building was making up the lion's share of the majority. Is that an accurate statement?
It is.
Okay. So just to lay this out, working, quit her job, said I'm all in, doubled down, said I'm going to work hard, 5 different lead gens. Really, I got 3 out of there. You've got farming, which incorporates a few. You've got your outside lead gen, and then your database social media, I've kind of combined as one that you've really kind of dove.
And then every time I was at my neighborhood Publix right down the street from me, as I was leaving out, I always handed out my business card to at least 3 people. And since then, at least 2 of them have came back around, 2 to 3 years later.
So you really are a full-time real estate agent. You do this full-time. This is great. All right. If y'all have any questions on specifics for this, because we could talk for a couple hours. We already did, and that's where this came from. Just put them in the chat. I promise I'll get to them. There is one question that did come up, and Mike, I'm not 100% sure I understand what it is. And while you're unmuting, Mike, I just have to let you know, Tawanda, Mateo is sending mad love your direction.
Oh, thank you.
Hearts and in comments and everything else. So a prop out to him. Mike, what was the question you had, sir? Oh, we may have lost him. It says, can you share your flyer? And I'm assuming that had to do with the community.
Yeah.
We'll cover that. Is that right, Mike?
The flyer she was using, and she said she put out 50 flyers.
I did a market update at first, but yeah, I can share that with you from Canva.
Okay, so it's Canva created, and I'm assuming you use that template again and again. Is that right?
Yeah, I just have 5, I have my picture, of course, a half sheet, and I have 5 of the homes in the neighborhood that have sold in the last 3 months, all the details on that, a little verbiage at the bottom, you know, if you're looking to sell your house, top sales, or get in contact with me.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. Tom wrote in there too, and I know he's driving around at this point, otherwise he would be on camera, and he said garage sales, and you really did your community events as well as garage sales, things like
By
that.
the 3rd year, I did a shredding event in the community.
Oh, nice.
I got a partner another vendor to split it with me, and we sat out there while people pulled up and shredded their papers. 7 people showed up, including the HOA president, which was great. So yes, that was my first community event.
I would do community events in mine because that's how I really got started. It was for sale by owners and also my community of 120 people. And I would do community events, and we would do a garage sale where I said they had to register because I would pull the permits for them. It cost me like $1.50 to get a permit, and I pulled 10, and that was nobody bothered. So it wasn't a big deal, but I got their information. Then I drive around with Dunkin' Donuts and give donuts out to the homeowners. So I had a chance to meet them for the ones I didn't meet too. And you can usually do it twice, but you need your HOA to say, yeah, that's cool. And it's for no other reason except we're pulling it to help the neighborhood. Anyway, just food for thought on that. All right. So we got 24 transactions this second year. I'm assuming you're busting your backside working. Is that a fair assumption? Can you tell us kind of what your schedule looked like and the freedom you had back then, or what you didn't have?
I'm not gonna lie to y'all, like I just got on a schedule, but when I wake up, I have a sense of accomplishment. I have to succeed on it. I have to succeed something on a daily basis. So I knew at that time I was door knocking, I knew or calling out on my database. So I didn't have a specific schedule in place. Now I do. But I knew I had to do something. So I always keep flyers or buyer's guides or something in my trunk. Because if I'm driving around and I see a for sale sign or whatever, hey, I might pull over and go door knock a few houses. I already got everything I need in the trunk. Postcards were going out. So I made sure I also spent time every day I did something different. So if it was get all of my clients' birthdays into the system so that I was reminded when their birthday is coming up, so I can jot out their little birthday card, put that in the mail. I do the little things. I do the little things that count, that make people feel special.
So I have to ask this. It sounds like you're every day you're doing what I call wob time, which is working on your business. There's always something that shows up. Do you happen to know what kind of personality type you are through disc profiling?
I've never did the disc. I did the Gallup strength
That
strength
works.
finder. And I did that first in 2014. I was going on a job interview and I was on they made me take that test. I went in for the fourth interview and the sales manager came in. He was like, hey, this is my name. I'm also a pastor outside of this. He said, let me tell you about your results. He said, I would hire you on this spot if I had an opening on my team. He said, I don't even need to see what you've done in any other company. I know you're a top sales rep from your results. Number one, achiever was like at the top. I'm an achiever, responsible, relatable. If y'all never did the strength finder test, I freaking love it. Like it's a series, 50 random questions that has nothing to do with anything. But when it's like put on paper what you are and what you're made of, that became part of my resume. And this man even told me not to take the job. He said, you're not taking this job. It's beneath you. You got to keep going up the corporate ladder. Get out of here. And I valued that. But again, I took that report with me on every interview I went on for the rest of my life. Now, fast forward, I'm in my second year of real estate. My broker said he's telling everybody to take this strength finder test. And I was like, well, here's my results. He said, I want you to take it again. So I took it first in 2014. I took it again in 2022. Guess what? I'm still an achiever in the top 5, but now I'm strategic. That's a new one in there. And so this broker was going around the room reading everybody's results. And he was like, oh, you'd be talking to different people. Like you'd be an ideal buyer's agent or you'd be this. So when he got to me, he was like, oh, hell, Tawanda, you can do any freaking thing from your results. You can literally buy, sell. You can be on either side. You can handle everything.
So I
What
want
was
to
your
ask
question?
you.
It even answer it?
Oh no, you actually it was actually so relevant to it, but I want to ask you a question. I'm a huge advocate for the personality profiles, but I'm an advocate for a reason, and that's where this question comes from. Where were your weaknesses? What did you, in taking that test, where did you say, oh, I got a hole here, I'm going to have to leverage something to fill it? Did you identify any when you were doing that?
Yes.
All right. I always, because see, these are the fun questions. Like if I'm interviewing you, the next thing I want to see your car before I hire you because I want to see what you do. And most people freak out. But what was your challenging parts that you need? Say, hey, I've got to get some coverage here. I don't know, transaction coordinator, somebody that keeps my
Yes.
schedule going.
Yes.
What showed up for you?
Yeah, I have a team in place because there's certain things on the computer I don't want to fool with. If it takes me more than 10 minutes, it's not worth my time. So last year I invested in a business manager for 3 months. It cost me $2,500 a month, but she came with 2 virtual assistants. And by the 3rd month, I was like, all right, chick, I'm done. I'm not giving you any more money. But she let me keep one of the virtual assistants. And which was beautiful because this woman already knew my system. She already knew how I worked. And I didn't have to train anybody. I don't want to have to train anybody. I feel not like that, but it was painful getting somebody. But now I have somebody that if I just tell her what I need, she figures it out. I went through 5 TCs. One of them cost me $2,000. I had to pay a client. That was painful, but guess what? I put out the word. I was looking for one. I needed one that worked like me, and I got her. So I can go on vacations and breathe now because I got the right people in place on my team.
Hang tight. Let's not get to the freedom part yet. That's coming next talk. That's our next conversation. I'm leading with the with what if it bleeds, it leads kind of thing. That's what my wife always told me. I love this. So I'm gonna suggest that you're probably a high I, high C, high I with a higher C, and your D is now going through the roof. That's disc talk, but it talks about achiever, strategic. Strategic is representative. So you're very much a people person. But here's the cool thing. Somebody who's very analytical, and I just have to share this because I don't want anybody to be hung up on the idea that, well, I'm not like her. No, you're not. And that's awesome. Right? You're not like me. You're not like anybody else. Everybody brings strength, and everybody, as we've just had somebody very vulnerably tell, brings weaknesses as well, myself included. You need to know who you are and what your strengths are because it allows you to leverage into your weaknesses with somebody that can support you so you can do what you're good at. If you're a high analytic and you're really good at getting things done in a timely fashion, imagine how effective you would be at the postcards where I promise you without an assistant, they wouldn't get done. Fair?
Fair.
All right, we never talked about that. I just know who you are, and that's just how it works. It's not going to happen. So we're that second year, we're 25 in. Third year, we're jumping up at this point. You've got your stuff rolling pretty well. Truth be told, though, and I know the answer to this, you weren't real satisfied with the results in the third year. What happened?
No, I wanted to reach 30. I was so mad. One more than the last year is not good enough for me. I kicked my own butt, y'all. That's why I said I never needed a coach. I am very hard on myself.
Now, this was last year, right? 2023.
Last year.
Okay, which is a challenging market. So you went backwards. You sold 24 the year before, and this one, what'd you sell? 7, 10, 12 homes?
What are you talking about this so far this year?
2023. How many homes you sell?
23, 25.
20. Oh, so you actually in a declining market went ahead. Huh. Wow, what do I call that?
Hey,
Success.
George.
Tom, I
George,
swear to God, I knew he'd pop in on that. Go ahead.
I have to say this, Tawanda, and yes, you know, Steve Pugh, you guys are all high achievers and you beat yourself up. What I want you to know is some of the top coaches in the industry are saying this: if you're maintaining the same result or a little bit more in 23 than you did in 22, that means you worked your ass off because the market has shifted in the other direction, right? So it's stabilized. There's more inventory. There's there's commission compression. So when you look at that, not only did you do one more, if you would have done the same work that you did the prior year, you would have did half of what you did. So now you're reaping the rewards moving forward because you keep momentum going.
100%. I knew Tom would jump in on that just because it is like so it's built for Martin. It really is. It was no question. I got to tell you, I'm incredibly proud of your accomplishments on that. What happened that you weren't satisfied with in 2023? You had a great year by all definitions. You were hard on yourself, but why? What was the issue? What was going on?
Doesn't have to be anything going on. I'm always hard. I'm built different. I'm always hard on myself. I don't know if this stems from childhood, but you know, as a kid, I couldn't bring home a C. I got a C. My mother, and my parents are still married to this day, but my mother embedded in me, you will not rely on a man for nothing. Literally, she told me this as a teenager over and over again. If I brought home a C, I was on punishment for 2 weeks. No phone, I couldn't go outside. I'm hard on myself.
Get it. I get it. Well, by all definitions, you had a great year in 2023 with 25 closings. As best you can, what was the breakdown? We've got our, database, now our databases I'm kicking in. You've got your farming and your
Referrals are
geographic
picking
farming.
up. Agent referrals are picking up.
Okay.
I joined, was it last year? Yeah, last year I joined the global committee and started traveling internationally to global events, which was an opportunity to network with agents in Canada, agents in London, and I built up my referral network.
Well, wait a second. That would be like, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Strategically planning on putting time on task over time into something that will ultimately pay off. You're not short term. You're actually kind of building a business that's going to be a business for years to come. That's
Correct.
weird. We don't do that in real estate. Crickets. Okay, I'm screwing with everybody on the call because I'm guilty of this too. Do you guys, everybody that's listening, God bless you for being on the call. Are you getting that she's on point with what she's doing and she knows where she's going and she's investing the time? Are you still door knocking?
I'm about to. I did yesterday.
All
I
right. So
got back
we're
into
back
it.
at that again because you know you need that for your goal. Your goal this year
Exactly.
for 2024 is how many homes?
50, my coach said.
50. Awesome. So, folks, we had this conversation about a week or two ago, and she was involved at the Bill Pipes event and was very learning based and wanted to pick up more. And now she's a coach. We're coaching with Bill Pipes, and she's going to hit her goals, I'm sure of it. And even if she falls a little short and only sells like 45 homes, um, besides the work ethic you put on yourself, have you created, if you chose to explore it, a little more freedom and mobility within your life by what you've done?
Yes, I am now forcing myself to take off at least one day, but mostly 2 days a week.
And without going too personal, because it's really none of our business, how's your financial position coming from corporate America, very well-paying, successful job? We don't need the numbers unless you want to share. How do you feel? You put 3 years of work in here. Has it paid off?
It has. It has. And I'm very disciplined, people. Like, even when I was in corporate making a lot of money, I literally I could survive off of $32,000 a year. I could survive off of that. And I'm a homeowner and I got a ton of bills, but I don't like to live outside of my means. And I'm very disciplined and I got an emergency fund in place. So if any deals don't come through, I can pull out of my emergency fund. Other than that, I will not touch it. I got business credit lined up. I'm very disciplined in what I do and how I spend, and it hurts when I spend, but I get out there and hustle harder.
Um,
I now have a financial advisor as well, who is setting me up with additional accounts. That's going to, because my goal is to retire in 10 years or less.
I absolutely love it. We've gone from 7 transactions that first year where you were really working 2 full-time jobs through the entire process, and then took a leap of faith. It was amazing, and said, I'm going to do this, and come heck or high water, it's going to happen. I said heck to make up for the F-bomb I dropped earlier. So mathematically, I'm at a neutral at this point. We had a year, 2022. I know, because we talked about this at lunch. You worked your fanny off to do this, plus managing everything else going on. 2023 started to reap some of the rewards, but I think that it's fair for me to say this publicly. You almost took your foot off the pedal a little bit. Is that a fair assessment?
That's a fair assessment, but there's one thing I left out.
Yeah.
I lost my brother in 2020, the end of 2022. So this is my brother I grew up with, 5 years older than me. And I lost him October of that year. And I had 5 deals under contract, and here I am at the funeral home planning my brother's funeral. So when I tell you life hit me, oh, and by the way, his wife died 3 years before he did. So their 5 kids combined, which thankfully they're all in their 20s, but they don't have no parents. They got me and my 80-year-old parents. So I gotta step up. If they call, I gotta help. They have nobody else. I gotta do what I gotta do.
Thanks for sharing that. We talked about that at lunch, and I understand the dynamic. I didn't want to bring it up because it's not my story to tell, but I appreciate your vulnerability with it for sure. So 2024, you hired a coach. And by the way, y'all have any questions, get ready, because I'm going to open this up and we'll just let you guys fire away. Simply raise your hand and you'll be in queue. I promise I'll call on you. And if you can't do that, go ahead and put it in the chat and I will make sure you get answers. You deserve it. 2024, we are going to 50 transactions. What's different besides hiring a coach? Has he kind of informed you? Have they informed you of what your world looks like now? Have you added or taken away? Tell us what that first bit's a bit of.
I have a schedule in place. I am now cold calling for the first time in my real estate career. But I'm not a stranger to cold calling. I've done it all my sales career. So I will not leave. I'm usually on the phones from 9 to 12. Mind y'all, I have ADD, so it's really hard for me to stay in one place. So I'll usually make 50, go take a break, another 50, go take a break. But I already got 3 listings and I'm only 6 weeks in cold calling.
Well,
And
hold on. Cold calling doesn't work.
Shit.
Cold calling, I can't fit it into my
Excuse my
schedule.
language. Y'all better
Um,
stop those lies.
Let's see, my phone doesn't get good reception. I don't have the right headset. I don't know who to call. There's no numbers.
You
I've
gonna
got the
keep
do
making
not call
excuses the
list.
rest of your life? Come on now.
Well, no, I got more excuses. I wrote down excuses so I can rattle them off real quick when it comes time to do the work. Oh, wait a second. You just did the work. You picked up 3 listings. And I will tell you what you're working on, because I know what Pipes is showing you. He actually he coached my mentor my first year in real estate. That's how weird the relationship is. Bill was my coach once removed, and I was literally on calls with him 22 years ago when he was with Ferry. You are walking into the absolute best time for expireds, withdrawals for sale by owners. We're going to see more of them through the industry just because sellers want a gazillion dollars. There's a little less buyers until we get the interest rates fixed. Wait for that in September where the rates come down. Even though that's a slower time nationwide, I expect we'll see it tick up. Watch the rates. The rates will indicate the buyer momentum. And there is a lot of people that are a little freaked out. You are going to be so successful on this. I think 50 is absolutely achievable. All right, so you've now got a schedule.
I now have a schedule.
What
Cold
else?
calling in the morning. I refuse. I don't care who calls me. And I have, y'all, I have some, when you get a client that has a lot of stress on their end and want to pour it on whoever, I got a lot of those right now. But I refuse. I will not take any of those calls. When I'm cold calling, I'm prospecting, I'm on a freaking mission. When I'm done at 12 o'clock, then I'll handle my existing clients. Then I'll door knock, I'll set up appointments, whatever I got to do.
I'm sorry, Bob. I couldn't take your call. I was busy doing what I said I would do, which is continue to reach out to buyers and sellers to find somebody for your home, because I'm not a passive agent. I'm an aggressive active agent. Oh, that's not a problem, Tawanda. I appreciate you calling me back at 12:15. It's all a matter of expectations. There are no emergencies. Don't let that get by you. All right. Tawanda, first off, I have to say thank you so much for doing this. I have been really looking forward to it. This is awesome. I'm grateful, impressed, and blown away. Anybody have any questions? Anybody have anything they want to add besides just showering her with love? I'd love to hear from you guys. If not, Tom?
I want to step up and just get my big mouth 2 cents in here. Tawanda, question number 1, do you take advice from people that are not as successful, that are not at a higher level than you, that are just starting out?
Nope.
Okay. Do you take advice from people who are going to help you move and give you truth?
Yes.
See,
All the time.
that's the thing. She's coachable. Tawanda, I hate saying this. Tawanda is coachable. She's learning based, and she's got determination, and she has a big purpose behind it, right? And I didn't know about the purpose with your daughter, and I knew about your brother. But here's the thing, guys. When you have a purpose, you'll find the way to do it. You just gotta, even the strengths, right? When we talked about the strengths, find the weaknesses and work on those. People will say all the time, well, Tom, I'm not a cold caller. I said, well, neither was I. And I don't like it either. But you know what? Do it until you don't have to do it anymore, or go work for somebody else. What do you want to do? Tawanda, I'm so extremely proud of you for setting an example for not only women in the industry, but single women in the industry that deserve so much more than that they're told they deserve. And you're going out and accomplish it. I'm a huge fan, and I'm grateful and blessed that I have the opportunity to even be in your world.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate
I just
you.
love that. I love it. All right. Tom, thank you very much. And by the way, Tom, I know that you're busy, but and Tawanda, I want you to get this. I know what his schedule looks like today, but he's like, I don't care how I'm doing it. I'm on this call. This is important to him. And he wouldn't say that, but I will sure throw him under the bus. He wanted to be here because of you. And I know he's got a busy schedule going on. So thank you, Tom, for being here. It means a lot to all of us. You're awesome. God bless you. All right, wide open. Anybody else have anything, or are you going to leave it to me? How about a little love? If you could put a heart on there, hit her with a heart for those the reactions. Let her know that she's cared for. Tawanda. Anything, anytime, anywhere, whatever you need, we got it. Enjoy Pipes. He is going to do amazing stuff with you, and just commit to the experience. You'll be amazed what happens. I can't wait to talk to you in 2 weeks and 3 weeks and just see how this is rolling out. Tom, you had something else, brother?
Yeah. So Tawanda, do you have an investment in the coaching, or is it a bill that you have to pay monthly?
It's an investment.
I love it. See, everyone has to stop thinking about, I have to pay that, I can't afford that. No, you can't afford not to, right?
Exactly.
And then the other thing, Tawanda, what advice would you give some of the agents on the call right now that are going, I wonder how she got this started? What advice would you give them? Number one, you reached out to me numerous times, and I just have a lot of experience and knowledge and guidance in the industry, and you never stopped calling or texting me. But what advice would you give everyone on the call to get their butts in gear?
There should be no excuse to keep you from doing what the heck you got to do. Let me tell y'all, I'm 47. I do the hard things. I have changed myself. I was not a morning person before this year. I now am up at 5:15. I am at Orange Theory at 6 a.m., 5 days a week, the hardest freaking workout of my life. I do the hard things because later on, everything else is easier. You can do the hard things. If I feel like I said, I'm 47, women, like we deal with different things that comes at that age. I started getting my hormones checked 2 years ago. Why? Because I was feeling a little brain fog in there. I get my hormones checked. So my hormones are level. I'm on the right supplements. I make sure that I am always on point. And when I'm not, I'm getting checked out. I might add some MCT oil to my coffee, which is like octane to your brain. I am always, and as of this week, after talking to George, now I'm taking flipping cold showers. Y'all love my hot showers. But let me tell you, it's been 3 days. And I could tell you, I'm going longer. I went from, like I said, my day starts 5:15 in the morning. 9 o'clock last night, I was still scheduling showings for the next 2 days. I was still working. I'm not as tired. I'm more energized. Another thing I noticed, because usually when I hear bad news, because today I got 2 of the most nightmare deals closing. Nightmare. And Coach Claire said, Tawanda, with any other agents, these deals would have fell through. Anything and everything that could have happened. And normally before the cold showers, I'd probably hear bad news, drop a cuss word, and then get to work. And now it's been like deep breaths, like, okay, all right, let me fix it. Because I'm a fixer. I'm a problem solver. And that's what makes these deals. I did get my first expired this year, but I've never lost a deal because I will figure out how to fix it.
Tawanda, what did I tell you? If you've never lost a deal, you haven't done enough what?
So I haven't done enough.
That's right.
I haven't done enough.
Yeah, we all have, we're all gonna have fallout, right? And if you've never had fallout, and this is what my coach told me years ago, oh, you think you close 100% of the deals that you do, that means you don't do enough deals. Get to work.
Mm-hmm.
I want to add something here. First off, Virginia put this in the chat, Tawanda, and I want to make sure everybody gets it. Congratulations, Tawanda. You've always been my hero.
Thanks, Virginia.
Isn't that a wonderful thing to say? So what I have done in the past, I happen to know what Tawanda has done as well is, and I know for a fact that Tom has done this, and you're going to find that this is kind of historical. When you find somebody that's doing what you want to do, spend time with them. And I'm very comfortable saying Tawanda has surrounded herself with people that have emulated where she wants to go. Tom and I together, we started literally in the same office, have done the exact same thing, as have so many others. I see Tony Fuentes on the call, and it's just kind of front and center. And I know his business has been his database and working it. And he's always put himself in a position to be around others that are doing things that he wants to do. I'm going to challenge you guys to seek her out when you get a chance. I'm not going to give you her number because that's up to her to decide to do. But the bottom line is you can find her in workplace chat. We are all in the same family. But if you have an opportunity to spend time with her, I bought her lunch a couple days ago at the Bill Pipes event. She doesn't know that it was free, so don't. Okay.
George, it was free.
Oh my God, I can't Gisela, what you're ratting me out.
I want to say something.
Please, you have it.
I want to say something. You are my girl. You know that. I
I
love
know.
you.
My biggest cheerleader.
I've spent time with you. You are freaking amazing. You're a rock star. I
I'm
wrote it
sorry.
to you. I want to say it to you in front of everyone. You are something else. I'm proud of you. And honestly, people, just find her. She is an inspiration. Rock
Absolutely.
star. I love you. That's
Thank
it.
you, Fran. I love you too.
All right. So this is just fun for me. I literally had a personal trainer come over to Tawanda, same as you. We were talking about what are we doing at my ice plunge is going to the back. I'll send you a picture of it when it arrives. It's going to be a Father's Day gift. And I said I have to stop 5 minutes early because I've got to be on this call, and I am hot and sweaty and nasty. And my wife is finishing up her workout, so I'm going to cut it off in just a couple of seconds. I want to tell you how grateful I am for you to come on and share all this with you. Did y'all get something from this? The people I could see, was this beneficial to kind of, catch what work looks like? And every one of you, do not ever sell yourself short. She is not more special, perhaps a little more disciplined now, which is over 3 years of practice. And 100%, there is a big why there. She didn't have a choice. She burned the boats and said, I'm going to do this. Now, I've asked you all this question, and think about this. For everybody here that I can see, do you think your business would go through the roof if 5 days a week I was standing behind you, or even worse, Tom Martin was standing behind you, and you made a commitment to invest at least 5 hours, which is probably 3 hours of lead generation and 2 hours of working on your business? Do you think your business would catapult with Tom standing over your back, slapping you in the head if you don't do what you're supposed to do, if you ever get off point? Give me a yes, it would. I mean, a thumbs up is a yes, it would. Okay. Or a thumbs down if no, you're not intimidated by Tom. Okay, Tom, I know you can't see it, but Gisela she actually put her middle finger down and not intimidated by you. I would seek out Gisela. She's
Yes.
saying you ain't got game. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah. Same with Tony Fuentes. He's doing the same thing. So those two people, Tom, seek them out and hit them over the head. Folks, what I'm saying is she did the hard work. Now, do you have to do the hard work immediately? No, but you bloody well better get started. This is an opportunity for growth. Right now, this is the season. We are in the season, what would be called winter for real estate. And that means spring is coming. There is so much opportunity ahead of us. And for those that are disciplined, those who are kind of adopting Tawanda's work ethic and saying, I like what she's doing, farming, she works some lead gen stuff, door knocking is part of her farming, and now she's into prospecting. Okay, there's a couple more in there, but y'all get this. This is a pathway to success. But catch this, it took her 3 years. Okay, I can tell you without reservation, I watched it. It took Tom 3 years too to get to the point where he was like, all right, this is cool, I got this. Same for me. It's an investment of time, and you have to be committed. Tawanda,
Can I tell y'all, I
Yes, ma'am.
capped within 2 months this year. Your girl is on a mission.
She got this.
Your girl is an icon. That's what's going to happen.
And as of next week, it'll be my 14th deal this year so far.
I am
Stay on pace.
so enamored with what you're doing. So Steve Pugh's on the call, and for all of you that don't know, to have Steve on this call is only because this is a work week in progress, and otherwise he would be on the phone prospecting, and he actually may be on next Wednesday's call doing objection handling duels with the number 1 and number 2 cold caller prospectors, phone people, between him and a guy named Milton James, and I can't wait to let him battle it out. Steve, do you have anything you want to add about Tawanda that somebody may not know about her work ethic and what she's been able to accomplish?
Just work works. Do the do and you get the did. You know what I mean? It's just action, and it's urgency. You know what I mean? There's a sense of urgency, and she's got that intensity about her, and she knows what she wants, and she goes after it. You know what I mean? She don't play. I mean, I wish I could give you a more, complicated answer so it sounds impressive, but it's just, obviously she's tapped into her purpose. She knows what she wants, and she's a driven individual. Everybody's different.
Actually,
So-
Steve, that was exactly what I wanted from one of our most highly successful agents and the best phone person I know. Any compliment on work ethic, which you exude, is a testament to Gisela, or excuse me, I'm still kicking, Gisela, Tawanda, it's a testament to you.
It's all lead generation. You just got to find something that you enjoy doing, and you know what I mean, and you can deal with mastering and being in that mundane every day, and just if that's your avenue of lead gen, and things will work out, and you'll close deals.
And I'm gonna tell y'all, I read almost every sales book there is throughout my sales career, even before I became a real estate, because I was in sales. So I was hungry for it. Read whatever book there is. And when you start to feel, there's a book, y'all, there's one, and I read this one on a regular basis, because when I start to get down on myself, I read it. Hold on. It's called The Top 10 Distinctions of Between Winners and Whiners. It's an hour-long book. I have it on Audible. If I start to feel down on myself, I read that book, it snaps me out of it.
Outstanding. There's your recommended reading right there. All right. It is time. Keyshawn, this was for you. The whole thing was just for you. Yes, ma'am. You. I'm talking to you. That's the whole reason I put this on, is I wanted to key in on you as well as Todd, and I got to call Jose out too. For everybody else on the call that you don't have your faces on, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. Tawanda, from me to you, I am not only impressed, I am truly grateful, and it has been an honor. Was this as tough as you thought it would be, or was it all right?
Oh, no, it wasn't. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for having me.
It's easy because of you and who you are. You're the one that made this work so well. Thank you again. And I got some work to do. So do y'all. God bless you. And Keyshawn, remember, we're talking to you.
I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Hi, so thank you for coming. Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
having her. And it really helped me today because my voice is cracking. I'm sorry. Son of death, so I don't really talk that much in the morning. I was getting down on myself because I don't always do everything in alignment with what we have for a schedule. A couple of days ago, I went to Dr. Leach twice with the call, with the picture off, and it was like, of course I got to go to the doctor. But it was like, I was kind of beating myself up because I couldn't stay on the schedule with the team, with what we're supposed to be doing. I was feeling really bad about that. But hearing you say, hey, I didn't make the calls, instead, this is what I did, that made me feel so much better.
Make up for it.
Because I feel like I get better results when I go out in the community.
There you
Like
go.
when I go to the gym, sometimes I even go to the food trucks and
There you
sit
go.
there and pass my card out. I think that works better. I think I get more interaction like that than I actually go on the telephone.
Then keep doing that.
So thank you.
Yeah, Keyshawn, just be intentional with it. If it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist. So if
Right.
you feel that that's your area where you want to live with respects to lead gen, put it in your schedule and do
Okay.
it every day. You know
Okay.
what I mean? And it will grow.
Sounds good.
Real estate can't be packaged. I'm not saying it has to be this way for everybody, but consistency and discipline around something is what's going to make the difference. And if for you, if it's networking, being out in the community, put it in your schedule and do it every day.
All right.
Exactly.
Thank you.
If you miss a day, just don't let one bad day turn into two. That's all.
Mhm.
Keyshawn, even to the extent I used to walk on the trail in my neighborhood, I carry cards with me. Okay. Walking the dog, put some cards in your pocket.
Okay.
Hey, neighbor, just want to give you my card. Have a good day. Let me know if I could be your real estate resource, and keep on walking.
Hey,
Okay.
folks, this is real important and it's worth the extra couple of seconds. Eventually, your business evolves to database, to the people you meet. Keyshawn specifically, and for everybody else on the call, it evolves to your database. Now, she's been quiet today, but Karen Leday is a master real estate instructor, coach, and everything. Her entire business is database. Okay. And that's, to be fair, I can't say that for sure. But what will happen, mine as well as database, you start going to that and it becomes where your business is. But Keyshawn, it starts with having these conversations. Steve's business is half database, because we've talked about this, and half his daily prospecting, but he's always doubling his business. So he's refreshing and adding because he works a lot of listings. You've got to be intentional, which he said, but you also have to do what you just keyed in on with Tawanda, which is be out there. And, if you like the food trucks, go to the food trucks, or where you're going, do what you're doing. Talk to people, folks. they actually like you. You're the ones that think that they've got a challenge. They don't. They want to say hi and have a conversation with friends. All
Mhm.
right. It's late. It's raining. I got to go. God bless you. I love you, Tawanda. You're awesome. Anything,
Thank you.
anywhere, anytime. All of y'all have an amazing weekend. Remember, go out, tell somebody you love them, tell them they're important, tell them they matter. You may actually save somebody's life by doing so. Worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to make their day feel better if they know that somebody cares about them. And that, my friends, is the secret to database, as well as a happy marriage or a happy relationship. And you can do that with your puppy dog too, but don't talk because they can't hear you that way. Anyway, have a great day. I love you guys. God bless y'all.
Thank you,
Love you.
everyone.
Peace.
Bye-bye, guys.
Love you, Todd. I see you, Todd. I see you, buddy.
I'm
Bye,
not hanging up
everyone.
until Steve's done with what he's doing.
Thank
See you
you.
guys.